I'll recognize the member for Cypress Medicine Hat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me start by saying that this was a misdirected, misleading, and underachieving throne speech.
Honourable member, please. Honourable member, please. Yeah. The Honourable Deputy Government House Leader, you're rising on a point of order.
The member has used 23 HI and J as well as Beauchesne's. The member has used the word misleading, which was ruled out by your brother speaker earlier today to be an improper comment, and I would just ask that he withdraw that particular word.
Okay, thank you. Honourable member, you might choose another word to make your point, or withdraw that.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I will withdraw it.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Starting with the title of the speech itself, Building Alberta Together, the document misfired. It's Albertans who build Alberta, who build it now and who will continue to build Alberta in the future. This government needs to simply stay out of the way more to make it happen, and the jargon of the throne speech does nothing for the real progress and the real innovation needed here in Alberta. It continued to be misdirecting because parts of it were aimed directly at the Wild Rose, while failing to recognize this current government's continued assault on property rights, individual rights, and frontline workers. It made no mention of the Premier's habit of unfocused globetrotting and foreign office expense accumulation. It did not focus on the bread and butter work here in Alberta. The continual PC talking point of the Wild Rose Build Nothing plan was mentioned. Let's get the facts straight. As the Alberta government, the Wild Rose would actually invest $48 billion over the next 10 years in health facilities, schools, roads, and other necessary government facilities. Our commitment to a provincial public priority list, more competitive bidding, more design bid build contracts, would ensure more effective and efficient infrastructure spending for all Albertans, and we would not do it on the backs of future generations. Oppositely, infrastructure projects like schools that are being announced without plans, budgets, and timelines. It will be impossible to complete them on time and not break another election promise. Worse, though, is that this way of building by political announcement and doing it on the backs of future generations will lead to huge inefficiencies, cost overruns, misallocated assets, and reduced value and services for all of us. The throne speech makes no mentions of the PCs continuing to increase the size and mandate of the provincial government. This increasing bureaucracy has been making many nervous as the South Saskatchewan Regional Plan chugs along with huge concerns about the economic and lifestyle consequences. The government fails to take responsibility for a huge bottleneck in environment and sustainable resource development that has been incapable of formulating plans and policies and not recognizing the good stewardship of ranch and family farming families or the many environmentally sound policies of our oil and gas companies. This is of huge importance now, Mr. Speaker, as the sage-grouse protection order is in effect in 42 townships in Cypress Medicine Hat and where this may lead to throughout the rest of our province. The throne speech ended with a section entitled, "The Next Phase, Opening New Markets." Amazingly, the PC government has made it their priority to focus unrelentingly on selling Alberta to the world and advocating for a Canada Free Trade Zone. In the 22 months since the last election, we have seen the Premier's Canadian energy strategy achieve not a kilometre of pipeline, not a metre of right-of-way, or move a litre of diesel fuel. Instead, what we have seen is a $1.3 billion potential subsidy to a for-profit industry, countless trade offices and missions, and a bundle of money spent on government gents. We measure the success of our elected officials in results, and the Premier's luxurious travels to the four corners of the earth have produced none. Amazingly, we have a Premier not even willing to wait 10 hours to fly home with the Prime Minister of Canada to discuss the very things she claims she wants to accomplish. Perhaps she could have considered that this is the man that she has to talk to to work with in order to actually achieve some of these things: interprovincial pipelines, trade agreements, and the like, to make Alberta a stronger participant in Canada. A year ago, in an effort to hide a $17 billion deficit looming 2 years from then, our Alberta PC government broke our financial situation into 3 budgets and added billions of dollars in P3 spending that will indebt us and our children for years to come. But this throne speech says the government will live within its means and balance the budget. That is not a consolidated Ralph Klein-style budget, would once again show the reality. This is a province billions in debt and nearly reaching the financial lows that Don Getty caused decades back. Of course, transparency might be the most overused, underutilized word offered by this government. A round table on the improvement of Alberta's child intervention system failed to invite many of the necessary stakeholders to truly explore the problems and the solutions. I, for one, had great hopes for this roundtable, have great hopes for this type of system in the future, and I do hope the government will strive to improve it. This government has also talked about meaningful consultation with Albertans, talked about involving the opposition more in a constructive improvement to the legislative process. Tightly managed, orchestrated, low turnout meetings in Cypress, Medicine Hat and around the province, and a failure to engage in discussions around numerous opposition amendments to legislations proves that this government has no desire or little ability to be more transparent. And last, I especially believe this throne speech was underachieving. It failed to take into consideration the real challenges Albertans have. The list is endless. Wait times for elective surgery are measured in years and cancelled appointments. It's embarrassing in Medicine Hat that our #1 radio advertisers are the Great Falls and Kalispell private clinics saying, come down here, pay your money to get your elective surgery. Municipalities are bogged down in provincial paperwork and uncertain funding levels. Our education system is falling behind competitively in a fast-paced and changing world. Rural Alberta is faced with economic uncertainties and government service decay, and our transportation and infrastructure spending is enormous with unacceptable results. Utility rates and their ancillary charges are skyrocketing. Everyday Albertans are feeling the hardship of this. With this in mind, let's take one last look at the title, Building Alberta Together. If this government truly meant that their plan was to be done together, the speech would have been completely different, and the government 2014 priorities would have actually reflected the 2014 priorities of Alberta's public. So instead of things like decentralization, innovative ideas, or intentions of meaningful consultation with Albertans, we heard misdirected and underachieving talking points. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.